Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second shelf and to another book haul on this Wednesday, while we all wait for the Booker Prize winner tomorrow, so that you all can make fun of my predictions. If you haven't watched it, I did a Booker Prize prediction video last Sunday. I will leave a link to it down below, but let's just get on with the books I bought. And the first one is not even a book I bought, but a book that was kindly sent to me by the publisher Bloomsbury, and that is the Delphine de Vigand's new novel, the English translation, I should rather say, of her new novel, translated from the French by George Miller. And this is how the cover will look like. And I requested this book, and they sent it to me, even though I live in Cologne, and who cares about a booktuber in Cologne? But thank you very much, Bloomsbury. Delphine de Vigan, if you follow my channel, you know that I really admire her work. I've read 4 or 5 of her previous books, and this one will come out in the English translation mid-January. And it's about Mishka, an older woman who lives in a home and who is losing her speech, losing her ability. I'm not sure whether she has dementia or whether there's some other ailment. And there is something in her past that she needs to get out. But because she can't really talk anymore or something, I don't know. I mean, I just love her work, Delphine de Vigand's work. So I didn't even look that much at the premise or at the story. I just want to read it, and I will certainly keep you posted. Again, this is the cover once I read it. The next book I did actually buy for a buddy read with Heidi from my reading life, and that is a memoir, Austen Channing Brown, I'm Still Here, Black Dignity in a World Made for Whiteness, and we will just ignore the sticker, the printed on sticker. So can you see like smoke coming out of my ears? Yes. Anyway, this is a memoir. Like I said, Austen Channing Brown is a Black American author. And this book is about her experience as a Black woman, a young Black woman in a white world. We finished this book already. We finished the buddy read, but I'm not going to talk about it. I will do that in a wrap-up. The next book I bought was also for a buddy read, and that is Love by Toni Morrison. And I forgot when this book was published. I'm very sorry. 2003. I struggle a bit with getting into Toni Morrison. I read 4 or 5 of her books, and there was one that I really loved, and that was Song of Solomon. But I also read Tar Baby and God Save the Child, Sula, and one other title escapes me. And it just didn't gel with me that much. But I want to. So I thought it would be a good idea to read my next Toni Morrison with somebody who really loves Toni Morrison, and that is Greg from Supposedly Fun. And we already started. We read the first 2 chapters. So I really hope that this will be my sort of turning point with Toni Morrison. Fingers crossed about that. The next book is a nonfiction book, Dava Sobel, Longitude, about the discovery, about the longitude and latitude thingy. And I have enough books for Nonfiction November, don't get me wrong. But I saw this in a thrift shop, and it is in perfect condition. So I thought, why not? One other book for Nonfiction November. And I read previous books by Dava Sobel. Some I liked, some I didn't, but she writes good nonfiction. And this discovery, of the longitude and latitude thing, and how important that was, especially for ships. I'm all in for that. So I will add that to my nonfiction TBR, and it's already the 18th of November, so I have 12 more days to go, and there are at least 4 books that I showed in the real Nonfiction November TBR, so let's just hope I will get this one in as well. And then I bought 3 books that I already read, but first of all want to reread. Maybe not this year, but who knows? I mean, there's still 1.5 months left in this year, so maybe. But anyway, I read them either on script or as on my Kindle as an ebook, and I wanted to have the physical copy. And the first one is Melissa Broder's book, Pisces, The Pisces, published in 2018. Melissa Broder, you might be familiar with her from her Twitter account, So Sad Today. She also compiled these tweets, or some of these tweets, in a collection also called So Sad Today. And I love this book. It's about Lucy, who worked for, I don't know, a decade or something, 9 years, on her dissertation on the Greek poet Sappho. It doesn't really go anywhere, and then she loses her boyfriend and her apartment, and she has to move in with her very successful sister and brother-in-law in Los Angeles. And then she encounters a merman, and she falls in love with the merman, hence Pisces. I thought this book was hilariously funny, a satire on, the worrying woman, and the self-help groups and the safe spaces and all these kind of things that are so prominent in our culture at the moment. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious, and I certainly want to reread it, but I also wanted to have a physical copy of it. The second book that I bought that I already read and loved and wanted to have a physical copy of, also to reread, is by Canadian author Miriam Toews, Women Talking, also published in 2018. I raved about this book multiple times on BookTube, so you're probably familiar with the story. It's based on real events, on a Mennonite society, a small society where women were raped during the night by a couple of the men in the same village. They were drugged and then raped, and it made the news, and that is the premise, or the starting point of Miriam Toews' book. And she imagines that these women, while the men are away, partly because they are in jail as suspects, and the rest of the men is going to the city in order to get them bail or something. And so the women gather in an attic and try to decide what to do. Should they stay and try to find a way to live with those men who raped them? Should they fight the men, or should they leave? And I thought it was a brilliant book about women taking charge under very, very difficult circumstances. So I certainly want to reread it, and I want to own a copy. I know ebook is book, but I just want to touch it and see it on my bookshelf. And the third and final book I bought, read and loved, and want to see on my bookshelf is a debut novel by, here you go, Oyingan Braithwaite, My Sister the Serial Killer, published 3 years ago, if I remember correctly, 2017, but you find the correct publication date down in the show notes. Oyingan Braithwaite is a Nigerian author, and this also is a satire on the image of women, the importance of beauty, and how men look at women and use them. And it centers around 2 sisters. One, the older one, is not very pretty. She works as a nurse, but she has a younger, very, very beautiful sister, Ayola. And Ayola is the serial killer because she kills her boyfriends when they don't treat her well. And then we also get a little bit of a backstory about the sisters and what happened in their youth. And the nurse falls in love with somebody, but that probably will not work out. But the center story is about a woman fighting back, that, at least for me, a woman fighting back against men who are sexist and misogynistic and just mistreat her because of her beauty and because she is a woman. I really love this book. It was nominated, longlisted for the Booker and longlisted for the Women's Prize, and I felt at the time that it should have won the Women's Prize, even though it's a debut and I know it's flawed. Most books are to some degree, but I thought it was different and hence important, and I certainly want to reread it and enjoy it again. Anyway, this was my book haul. A couple of books I already read, some books that I want to read, hopefully get to, like the Dava Sobel, a book about longitude, and one book that I didn't even buy and still included in the book haul. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to your comments as always. Tell me about the books that you bought or are planning on buying, or whether you read any of the books that I hauled here. And I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.